What's up, everybody? Welcome to my channel. I am DJ, aka your Token Black Guy. If you're here for the first time, hit that like button, subscribe button. Trying to get to the 500 mark. I've been at a standstill lately with my subscribers. So if you're seeing this, give me a like, give me a subscribe. I truly appreciate it. But I recently watched all 3 episodes of ANDOR, and I'm loving this show. I like the vibe of it and everything. But like I said in the last video, I am more of a newer Star Wars fan. So there's a lot of things I probably missed watching it that I want to, make sure I get a full understanding of. So new rock stars, they all do a breakdown of every episode. So this is their breakdown of Andor episode 1. Let's check it out.
Welcome back to New Rockstars. I'm Eric Voss, and this
Thank
is
you, Mr. Eric Voss. How are you doing?
Andor episode 1. I am loving this Rogue One prequel series for its graphic.
I am too. I am
universe.
too. Oop. We'll make sure we're in 1080p. There we go.
Like being unafraid to open in a brothel? No Grogu's
Yeah.
in here. Though considering the younglings who kicked off the last Star Wars show, kids might be safer in this one. I am going to break down all of Star Wars Easter eggs and the subtle details.
Break it down. Break it down, Bonnie style for me.
Great. And thanks to Boxu for sponsoring this video. More on their tasty offerings later.
Yeah.
So
We don't care
every
about
Star
sponsor.
Wars Disney Plus title opens with a red and blue lit series of familiar droid faces and metallic helmets. This one is updated to include B2 EMO. B2, the ground mech salvage assist unit, new to this series. The Andor title card shows an eclipse in space, the crescent of that planet becoming a rudimentary version of the Rebel Alliance symbol, representing Andor's evolution from an undefined planet hopper to a fully fledged rebel soldier. We open on the rainy planet of Morlana 1, where the title lists the year as 5 BBY. Now, if you've been following Star Wars, you know that BBY and ABY stand for before the Battle of Yavin and after the Battle of Yavin.
I did not know. See,
5 years before the event.
There's stuff like that. I didn't know that at all. So I'm learning as a Star Wars fan. So that's knowledge that I know now.
Of A New Hope and Rogue One. What's interesting here is that this is the first time where BBY has actually been used on screen in a Star Wars show or movie. BBY and ABY have certainly been used among fans, and the new Essential Chronology reference book from 2005 suggested some in-universe characters use the Battle of Yavin as a kind of calendar year 0, but Star Wars has never until now actually shown the letters BBY on screen. But this series is clearly trying to match Rogue One, which did use on-screen titles for locations, and this Rogue One prequel series is essentially a ticking clock toward that battle. Preox Morlana is the name of a private corporation contracted by the Empire to oversee this system and run their security internally. Kind of like the Weyland-Yutani Corporation from the Alien franchise. Grand Moff Tarkin had kind of a smug outlook that was all about delegation. How just the fear of the Death Star and the regional governors would keep everyone in line. This is an extension of that. They're literally contracted.
Yeah, blue ramen. I didn't notice that.
Company. Now, all this rain over the walkway lamps, the amazing synthy score from composer Nicholas Britell, the security hovercraft in the background with their searchlights, all of this gives off a noirish cyberpunk feel.
Yes.
Blade Runner, which is also the influence for the Rings of Kafrene and Cassian's.
We got very strong Blade Runner vibes.
Display bubbles with some folks to have some fun with, folks to maybe fight or to bet on. And in the background, you can hear a female worker saying,
"No credit, no nonsense."
Yeah, that sounds a lot like the voice of the freaking midwife droid on Polis Massa in Revenge of the Sith.
Oh, really?
According to StarWars.com, ooh-bah is kind of a comforting cooing sound. So one of these Morlana workers is pitching themselves with the warm bedside manner of OG-WAN.
That's weird.
Big mean empire so hard on you, baby. Let's relax.
That's funny.
Inside,
that's creepy.
some holoprojectors beam a dancer, reminding us of the holoprojected Twi'lek dancer watched by the partisans on Jedha in Rogue One. So Cassian is looking for a girl from Kenari, but the hostess says that they have a girl from Tahina, who she says has those big dark eyes that you're looking for. Both planets are new to Star Wars, and the suggestion really is that people from Kenari and Tahina have dark features. Cassian asks for the name of the Kenari girl that the hostess had seen, and the hostess says,
"Nobody here gives their real name."
An interesting stated theme for this series. This will be a show about deceit. People's declared identities are rarely who they really are. The 2 cops, Kravas and Verlo, chase down Cassian because this is an employee-only area off limits to people not on the corporate payroll. This whole idea of company towns is also explored in Loki with the Roxxon-owned Haven Hills, Alabama. A bit of biting the hand by directors on this platform that's owned by a studio that essentially runs company towns with their own legal jurisdictions. They ask,
that is true.
Swim over. What's going on?
Yes,
Astronomy.
surrounded by water and literal bubbles in this opening sequence frames Cassian as a metaphorical, at least, evolutionary amphibian, transitioning from sea to land. The guy really has been adrift in an ocean, and he's now on a hero's journey to walk a path. After wrestling a blaster from their hands, Cassian says,
"Tell me what to do! Let's hear it, boss!"
Another motif throughout this episode, pretty much every scene ends with the character telling Cassian exactly what to do.
Yeah.
Make yourself useful!
Now go fix your face. Finish up. Get out. Don't come back.
He's still a wanderer who needs this direction. Now Verlo doesn't get up, and Kravis says,
Mean it.
that thunderclap was kind of a thud of realization for Kravis. Don't make a guy feel like he has no other way out when he is still holding the gun on you.
Yeah, that's true, yeah.
Tries.
We played too hard with him, and you didn't understand, and he tried to grab you, and he fell, and he hit his head.
Sorry, I'm coughing, guys. Got allergies.
I'll tell him what happened.
Yeah, coming up with this
Cold-blooded
whole story of what really happened. This tactic comes up throughout the episode from many characters. Specifically, Cassian later uses this with Brasso. There are two guys.
I like that, and how they both like he got on board with it.
Gets this from the Sentry, and onto the planet Ferrix. This is actually part of the same system as Morlani 1. Its name is likely based on the term ferrum, the Latin word for iron, which is why its chemical symbol is Fe, kids. Which reflects the rusty color of this planet, the way the ground is just rusty red, and all the scrap metal of these Clone Wars era ships being broken apart to build a new fleet for the Empire. The town of Ferrix is actually a practical set constructed in a former quarter.
I like that it's practical set. That's pretty cool.
In Buckinghamshire, giving these actors a full town to walk around in, as opposed to the LED screens of the volume that's been used in other Star Wars live action.
I like the volume, but I like the actual sets. That looks nice.
Rolls past a building with Orbesh, translating to Ferrix D something, and then beneath, speeders available. In episode 3, this will be the building where they hijack those speeders.
Oh, yeah.
B2
Probably dealership.
These boars look like the Bladeback boar. This is from the Star Wars Galaxies game. B2 rolls up to sleeping Cassian on the ship that he took to Morlani 1, now parked in the shipyard.
Cassian, I brought what you told me.
It's told me. Like a little stutter.
Casa.
So B2 is voiced with an adorable stutter by Dave Chapman, a longtime voice actor who actually puppeteered BB-8. But in this show, they usually let the people who puppeteer the character also voice the character. Now, we don't know if in this scene, B2 actually calls Cassian Casa, or if Cassian
that's just a memory.
hears the voice of the droid in his dream.
It's not like more in his dream.
His sister Carrie called him. This flashback shows the planet of Canary, where a riverside tribe of youths react to a Republic-era vessel crashing overhead. And I say Republic because if Andor is set in 5 BBY, anything before 14 years prior to that would be Clone Wars era or earlier. That was before the Republic gave way to the Empire. Notice as that ship crashes, a secondary explosion releases a trail of yellow smoke, a clue that it was a kind of chemical bomb that caused this crash. Now, I have from a bunch of Rockstar's viewers, one girl tries to signal it before another shuts her up. Now, the leader is credited in the credits as Alpha 1, the shouting girl is Alpha 4, and we don't really have any other name for them than Alphas for now. It's just an interesting choice to have these Canary kids speak to each other without subtitles. Now, we obviously don't.
Yeah, I was hoping for subtitles. I mean, kind of tell,
on the context, but the rare choice in Star Wars to not translate what people are saying keeps Cassian and his past at a bit of distance for the viewer. Like the camera could be that of a documentarian embedded with these refugees just along for the ride and requiring us to just take all this.
Yeah, how did they get there by themselves? Like, where's their parents at?
And asks B2 about who came asking for him while he was out.
Pausing for data lag.
Oh, this poor beat-up old-timer. And Cassian later asks him to lie.
I can lie. I have adequate power reserves.
I love it. It takes a droid extra power to lie. It's just a really cool commentary on how it really takes humans more energy to lie than to just be honest. As Cassian walks into town, the camera lingers on the town's bell tower, which we will see in future episodes. Striking metal is a key way that these workers tell time and communicate in other ways. Beneath the bell tower, we can see a bulky alien walking with industrial yellow plating on its head and back. Maybe an
I didn't even notice that.
Scrap metal. We see dozens of pairs of worker gloves hanging from a wall, kind of like punch cards for these workers to check in, but there's a few empty slots. Maybe maybe some who died recently on the job. Cassian tells Brasso to tell people that they spent the night together drinking nog. Nog and Rev Nog come up a few times in this series. Sounds like an in-universe term for homemade booze, but Brasso agrees by adding to Cassian's fake story to include a fake part explaining why Cassian would have a bruise on his cheek. Notice how pretty much everyone Cassian talks to also comments on his injury. Just a reminder that in this Empire-dominated society, any change to the routine gets noticed and must have a cover story behind it. Back on Morlana 1, Deputy Inspector Cyril Carr
this guy
makes a detailed report on those
Mr. Overachiever, like
modified your uniform.
Perhaps slightly.
I not like this guy at all.
Some light
Hope he dies.
tailoring.
I love commenting on an officer's uniform in Star Wars because, yeah, that suit fits tight around his core and waist. On Chief Hines' screen, the Orabesh on the second line translates to Ferrix. So the answer to Karn's inquiry was actually right there on that screen. But Hines tells Karn not to pursue it.
2 dedicated Primor employees caught in the sad orbit of heroic calamity.
But they were murdered.
No, they were killed in a fight.
Yes, a third time characters try to concoct a false narrative out of convenience. Hein is on his way to Imperial inspection and doesn't want to have to report a recent crime. We see how this era is giving all of the people a strained relationship with the truth. Back on Ferrix, Cassian approaches a shop with Orabesh on the front, including the words conversion codes. Biggs detaches some parts. This looks like a pod racer engine. Her welding mask looks like the piece of a droid head. Cassian tells Biggs that he wants to sell her high-profile contact a valuable part.
I got an untraceable NS9 Starpath unit. Vector crystals and Imperial seal still intact.
This is an Imperial navigator that shows locations and the channels that the imps use to get from place to place. Vix's partner says,
We betting on the Wabani?
It was a navigating system, okay.
Wabani is a location of the Imperial prison where Jyn Erso is detained in Rogue One. Wabani is actually an anagram for Obi-Wan. Sounds like these salesmen bid on scrapper runs to other planets, getting in on whatever gets found. Kind of like Storage Wars. I love how much we're worried about the low-level economy of this society right now. Back on Kenari, the Alphas see more yellow smoke rising from that crash site. They stir darts and poison, prepping some blow dart guns. And these Lord of the Flies kids straight
Lord of the Flies
ash as a kind of war paint. Back in the present, Karn makes an astro traffic control officer, kind of like an air traffic control operator, check the charts from the night before. The junior officer speculates that the unknown cruiser could be an Orlean Starcab or a Daven. Orlean Starcabs are old scout vessels that are mentioned in the guidebook in the 90s role-playing game. Cassian gets stopped by
this is stuff I had no idea. The wide expanse of the universe.
Yeah, the
that
actor
was funny.
who plays that is Ian White, the actor who plays the giant 1/1 in Game of Thrones. The guy is 7'1", and again, I love that they let White physically play the part and voice the character. Meanwhile, the Orabesh on the shop behind them reads screens. As Tim tries to follow Bix, he loses her near a sign in Orabesh that reads droid parts, and above that, from the opposite angle, you can see it reads service as Bix passes a gonk droid, and on that droid shop wall hang a few legs of protocol droids. Also, as Tim looks around, there's another parts shop sign in a different language. This looks like at least now Huttese, maybe something else. I just like that not all the signs are in Orabesh to show the diversity of races that live here. Bix walks into a repair shop, repair in the Orabesh there, but also out front hangs a bell or a wind chime, something later that the proprietor Solomon Pack will use to clang to signal other townspeople to act. Bix asks for a Bending Mesh Tech filter, Bending being a StarCraft company in universe that made the XR-12, but really this is a kind of code between Bix and Solomon for a communicator hidden in the cylinder column, and she communicates by flipping a series of switches to release a rhythmic beeping, kind of like an in-universe Morse code. An intel officer on Morlana 1 eats a mouthful of blue ramen.
Yeah, that's
Star Wars tradition of randomly blue food. They reference an imperial census that was done 6 years prior. So if this is 5 BBY, that census would have been an 11 BBY or 8 years after the imperial takeover. And another officer warns about cracking down too hard on Ferrix.
They have their own way of doing things.
I love all these little examples we're getting in this era of Star Wars about how hard it is to have any authority over all of these diverse planets and societies. In the
Roman Empire, you can't control it. Once you get so big, it starts coming to a problem.
O'Brien, aka James Tart and Ted Lasso, Jamie Tart's a-hole dad. His boss, Zorby, barks over the PA.
What in the name of Chop is going on out there?
Chob. So Chob's knob is an expletive used by Biff in the Heir to the Jedi novel. And we learn that Pegla knows Cassian is switching.
How do these people know all this stuff, man?
He knows that Cassian used this for something shady. We end the episode back in that Kenari flashback where
I'm learning so much right now. I'm just trying to take it all in. Last time we saw his sister.
Percussion intensifies as we cut to black, as if to say Cassian's final glance at his sister is what hits him the hardest. Since they released the first 3 episodes all at once, my breakdowns of episode 2 and episode 3 are going to be up on the channel very soon. You can follow me on TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter at EABoss. Follow New Rockstars. Subscribe to New Rockstars for more analysis of everything.
Make sure you subscribe over there.
Bye.
Thank you, Mr. Eric Voss, for breaking it down for us as usual. Like I said, I learned a lot because like I said, I'm a new Star Wars fan, so this stuff is like I'm trying to take it all in at one time. It's like learning a whole new different like language, I guess you would say. But I'm enjoying it. I'm glad he had these guys like New Rockstar, Eric Voss that break it down for us newbies like myself in the Star Wars. But again, I'm enjoying this show. Like I said, Rogue One is my favorite Star Wars movie, and this is just a prequel to it, so I'm all for it. We're gonna do episodes 2 and 3 breakdown, so keep an eye out for that. Make sure you like and subscribe and hit that notification bell so you know when I post. I will be posting more. I haven't been posting that much the past couple weeks. A lot of life stuff going on, but I'm trying to get back in the rhythm of posting more. So make sure you check out all the content and make sure you like and subscribe. I'm trying to get that 500 mark, so I truly appreciate it. Till next time, guys, I will see you when I see you. Peace.